All right, let's talk about AI and your job. We all wonder which jobs are actually safe, right? Well, a brand new study from Microsoft just came out, and it's completely flipped the script. It looks like a massive job reversal is on the horizon. So, let's get right into it.
For years, the advice has been the same. Learn to code, get a digital job, work on a computer. That was the safe bet. But what if that's not really the full picture anymore? What if those cushy computer jobs, the ones we all thought were the most secure, are actually the ones in the most danger?
And look, this isn't just some random person's opinion on the internet. This whole rethink is coming from a massive, groundbreaking study from Microsoft. You know, the company that's literally at the center of this AI explosion. Think about it. They have every reason not to cause a panic, which makes what they found even more, well, you gotta pay attention. The sheer scale here is what's so incredible. We're not talking about a small survey. Microsoft analyzed a huge data set, 200,000 anonymous, real-world conversations of people actually using AI CoPilot for their work. This is real data from the trenches.
So, how'd they figure this all out? It's pretty smart, actually. They looked at all these chats, and for each one, they basically asked, could the AI do this entire task, from start to finish? And from that, they came up with this AI applicability score for tons of different jobs. It's a direct, data-backed look at how likely it is that AI could just do that job.
Okay, so what did they find? What's the big reveal? Well, the first part of this big job reversal starts with the jobs that are most at risk. And it turns out they all have one thing in common. They're all about language and communication. And when you see the list, it kind of makes sense, right? I mean, they're called large language models for a reason. They're amazing at structured language. So jobs like interpreters and translators, customer service reps handling the same old questions, even writers who are basically just summarizing things. Yeah, AI is getting scary good at all of that. And just to put a fine point on it, look at this number. 846,000. That's how many jobs there are in the US for just one of these at-risk roles. Market research analyst. I mean, think about that job. It's all about deep research and putting it all together. Stuff that AI can now do in like seconds. But this is where it starts to get a little uncomfortable for a lot of us. Because it's not just the more straightforward communication jobs. The study is flagging high-skill, high-paying digital jobs. We're talking web developers, data scientists, even mathematicians. You know, the exact jobs that we've all been told were the golden ticket for the past 10 years. So, if all these digital jobs are suddenly on shaky ground, where's the safe harbor? Well, this is the other half of the story. This is the great reversal. It turns out the jobs that are surprisingly safe, the ones AI is not good at, are overwhelmingly jobs in the physical world. Yeah, I mean, just think about it for a second. Phlebotomists, the people who draw your blood, nursing assistants, providing care right at the bedside, or workers dealing with hazardous materials. These are all jobs that need a delicate physical touch, they need real-world interaction, and honestly, a level of human trust that, well, a robot just can't earn. Not yet, anyway. And the list just keeps going. Automotive mechanics, massage therapists, maids and housekeepers, the folks who maintain our highways. It's this wild twist, isn't it? The so-called cushy computer jobs are suddenly at risk, while the hands-on, essential jobs that literally keep our society from falling apart, those are the ones that look like they're here to stay. So it really boils down to this stark contrast. On one side, you've got jobs that are all about language and communication, very vulnerable. And on the other side, you've got jobs that are rooted in the physical world and real human interaction, and those are looking surprisingly safe. So what does all this mean? What's the bigger picture here? Well, it really feels like we're watching a fundamental shift happen in real time. It might just be the end of an entire era of what we even consider work. For decades, knowledge work was everything, right? The whole idea was that your value came from what you knew, the stuff you learned in school, the specific facts in your head, and how well you could type it into a computer. This study is basically saying that AI is about to automate that whole category of work. Which of course leads to the big question for every single one of us. If just knowing a specific thing or having a specific digital skill isn't a safe bet anymore, then what is? How do you actually build a career that's going to last in this new world? And the answer seems to be a total shift in how we think. The new rulebook for career survival is this. Stop focusing on inputs, the individual tasks you do, and start focusing on delivering the final outcome. Steve Jobs had this amazing way of explaining the difference. He said, the janitor is responsible for an input, so they can have an excuse. Sorry, the door was locked, I couldn't clean the room. But an executive is responsible for the outcome. They can't make excuses. If the door is locked, they have to find the key, maybe even break down the door, whatever it takes to get that room cleaned. That's the difference.
And that right there is the big divide. AI is becoming an absolute master of inputs, writing code, analyzing data, just following instructions. It's amazing at that. But we humans, we still own the outcome. We're the ones who have to pull together different skills, manage resources, and that includes managing people and AI bots, and ultimately take the responsibility for getting the job done.
Just think about the top 1% in any field. They're never just doing one single narrow task. The best journalist isn't just writing words, they're managing sources, dealing with stakeholders, piecing together a complex story. The best engineer isn't just banging out code. They're figuring out what to build, leading a team, and making sure the whole thing actually gets finished and shipped. They're synthesizers. So, how do you actually do this? How do you make that shift? It's really about thinking one level up. Start managing resources, people, AI tools, whatever. Learn how to connect the dots between different parts of a project. Take total ownership for that final result. A great example is moving from being the web developer to owning the web development agency that uses AI and other developers to deliver websites for clients. See the difference?
Because at the end of the day, we are heading into a world where the one specific skill you have on your resume matters less and less. Your real durable value and your job security is going to be all about the final results you can deliver.
And so that leaves us with a final question, one you should probably ask yourself. Just take a hard look at your own job, your own career. Are you being paid for the inputs, the tasks you do all day? Or are you being paid for the outcomes you're responsible for creating? Because the answer to that, well, that might just decide your entire future.